A very warm good morning to everyone present here. My name is Ankita Yadav, member of Industry Institute Interface Committee, and I welcome you all for this wonderful session on the topic of navigating the sales and marketing world. For the wonderful topic, we have our dignitary on the dais is Mr. Lalit Ketkar, sir. He is none other than our alumni, and we are really proud to have him. Moving towards Sir's professional career, Sir is Chief Management, Marketing, Advertising at Sales at Then Healthcare Group. Sir has a dynamic professional with 12 years of experience in sales, key accounting management, client management, corporate sales, business development, vendor management, account management. Sir has a 7 years of rich experience in Reliance Broadcast Network as a group head and sales and senior sales accounting manager. Apart from all his professional career, Sir has a very wonderful nature of being kind and helpful to everyone. Ending up my words, I would request Sir to begin with the session. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Ankita. Thank you so much. So, good morning, students. A very warm welcome to all of you to IMDR. I think you have made the right decision of choosing this very unique institute. I will come to that in a bit, but like Ankita said, let me introduce myself a little bit. So, I am a 2007 pass out from IMDR, and post that, after getting placed in campus, I was with Pantaloon Retail India Limited for almost 4 years, placed in Mumbai corporate headquarters. Post that, I joined Idea Cellular Limited in Pune, and after working for Idea for 2 years, I was with Reliance Broadcast Networks Limited for 7 years, and currently I am with Dainik Bhaskar Corporation Limited as Chief Manager Advertising Sales, based out of Pune. So that is a very brief introduction of my career. Like all of you are about to do in few years' time, I also started my career in IMDR, from IMDR, post 2007. So just I have had the privilege of working in 3 different industries. The first one was retail, which was Pantaloon Retail India Limited. All of you must know Big Bazaar, Food Bazaar, Central, and all those retail formats that you see when you visit malls and shopping complexes. So I was with that company for 4 years. Post that, I was with Idea Cellular Limited, which is the telecom provider which everybody knows. I hope so. And it's known by the name of V now. And that time it was Idea Cellular Limited, and Vodafone Cellular was a separate entity. And post that, I was with this brand called Reliance Broadcast Network Limited, which has the radio station called Big FM. And we also had few television channels like Big Magic, Big Ganga. Basically, I was into media sales. I will come to that in a bit. Currently, I'm working with Dainik Bhaskar Corporation Limited as Chief Manager Advertising Sales, and I'm handling the entire territory of Maharashtra for the company. So yes, again, I would like to reiterate, if any of you have any questions, please feel free to interrupt me. I want this session to be an interactive session. I don't intend to talk a lot, and I don't want this session to be a monotonous session. The more interactive it will be, the better it is, because then that's when the value addition will actually happen. So coming back, after my introduction, I would like to say a few words about IMDR. I actually don't know how to start, because it's a long story, and I think I would like to say this much, that you have made a very right decision of coming to IMDR. This is a very unique institute. This is your induction program, so things will get clearer as as the days progress and the years progress. I honestly hope that after this COVID crisis that the world has faced, things get back to normal, and you come to start actual physical classroom sessions rather than online. And I would also like to meet you in person rather than doing this on a webinar mode. But since the regulation and law of the country says that we should do it online, so this is just a temporary arrangement. I think I hope so that colleges will start very soon and things will be back to normal, and that's when the real learning will start. So speaking about IMDR is a very unique institute in terms of the teaching methodology they follow and the kind of learning they make you go through. Let me tell you very honestly at the outset, this is not a normal B school. This is not a B school which will only impart classroom training to you. and learning by rote and just reading books and theoretical knowledge. This is an institute which will make you go through various loops in order for you to make the professional that you intend to be. I hope that all of you here have come with an ambition, with an idea of what you want to do in life. And I think that IMDR will prove instrumental in making you reach that goal. So keep an open mind, keep a free mind, and accept all learning that comes your way, good or bad. I mean, that's how life is. And I am sure that, once you pass out of IMDR, you will be the high flying professionals that you aspire to be. And the world that I passed out of IMDR, or my batch passed out of IMDR, was a very different world than the world that you live in. You live in a much more digitized world. In our time, we did not have smartphones and laptops. I mean, we had laptops, but college laptops and comp lab laptops. I mean, comp lab systems, and we did not, have the kind of access to digital technologies that the world now offers. I mean, now you can do things at a click of a button from your smartphone. Life was not like that 14 years ago. So it has its own advantages and disadvantages. I will come to that in a bit, but not to bore you. Please feel free to ask me any questions. So again, I would like to say that IMDR is a very unique institute, like I have said earlier, and the courses that you will follow here, the kind of teaching methods that will be followed here, I would request you to keep an open mind. Keep yourself open to learning, keep yourself open to understanding different perspectives, new perspectives of the world. And I'm sure that by the time you leave this institute in the next 2 years, you will have a very much more enriched experience of the business world and life, and you will have learned a lot more about it than what you currently know. So I will not say much. Rather, I would not like to spoil the surprise for you. So I will keep it very brief for IMDR. The topic that I have been given is navigating the world of sales and marketing. I am a sales and marketing professional. Actually, I'm a sales professional, to be very honest with you. Marketing is just one small part that we do. And I would like to, come to the next topic, which is the world of sales. So let me ask you a question here. How many of you aspire to be a CEO or a COO of any large organization, let's say 20 years from now or 15 years from now? Any answers? Can anybody say something?
Yes, sir.
So I would I'm just trying to get an idea of the kind of ambition that people have come here with, and want to know from students if they aspire to be a sales head or a national sales head or a country head or a CEO or a COO in any large company in any sector. Mostly CEO. I mean CEO, because that's what the world looks forward to. I mean, a national sales head or a country head is not that much of a visible role than a CEO, because a CEO, everybody knows him by name and he's famous, and I mean he is a CEO, so he is known to the world. So I just wanted to ask the students if any of them have come to this institute thinking about becoming a CEO or COO.
Like I'm Ankita. I'm from DM2, which completed our internship.
Okay.
So yes, sir, we are actually having a dream of becoming some CEO of a company, nice MNC companies.
Mm-hmm.
The experience we had our internship was actually very wonderful with the guidance of our teachers. So we have come through various things and career opportunities over there.
Mm-hmm. So which stream are you planning to graduate from? Have you taken sales? Have you taken marketing? Have you taken HR, operations, finance?
Yes, sir. So for like we have dual specialization. So my major is marketing and my minor is business analytics. And for sales, sir, I would say I mostly prefer B2B sales option.
So let me tell you, the reason for asking this question was, do this small exercise when you go back to after the session ends. Do the small exercise. Pick up any company of your choice, and find out who's the CEO. And once you find out who's the CEO, just go to his LinkedIn profile or his profile on Wikipedia or somewhere, some article on the internet. Let me tell you, 95% of those people who are CEO and COO, you will notice that they are either from the sales background or from the finance background. Either they have done CA, or they are a CFO and then promoted to CEO, or they were a national sales head, national country head for sales, or some other sales role, and ultimately got promoted to CEO. I am talking about second generation people, because in cases of, for example, if you take Mahindra and Mahindra, so if Anand Mahindra is the CEO of Mahindra and Mahindra, he has a legacy. He is somebody's son. His father had founded the company, so he became CEO. But if you look at professionally appointed CEOs, 95% of those CEOs you will see will be either from the sales background or from the finance background. The reason for telling you this is that's how important sales is for a company. If you can do sales, you know the sky is the limit. You can become a CEO of any organization you want to. And literally, I have seen people become this. I'm not saying this from hearsay or because of reading stories on the internet. I have literally seen people rise to that level. So that is the kind of scope that sales offers, and to an extent finance offers. I mean, no offense to the operations or HR or marketing guys, but sales and finance can get you to the top, literally to the top, if you aspire to be a CEO or CFO or COO. Very seldom I see somebody from an HR or a marketing or a operations background become the top guy. So I will not take much time talking about sales. Some people say sales is an inherent skill. Some people say that sales can be learned. Some people say sales can't be learned. Well, it's a bit of both. Yes, you need to be a little flamboyant. You need to be a people's person. You need to be very good in communication skills to become a good salesperson. But yes, sales can be learned as well. It is not that it is a skill that cannot be acquired by learning. So keep an open mind for that. And I mean, that's how important the sales is. The profession of sales is for a company. If you see balance sheets, some of you must be commerce graduates. You will understand balance sheets. You must be reading balance sheets. So whenever we talk about any balance sheet of a company, when you see the revenue part, the revenue that comes to the company, all that is sales. That is somebody's hard work on the field who has done sales for the company, and that's how he gets revenue for the company. So it might be product sale, it might be retail sale, it might be B2B sales, it might be international sales, it might be software sale, it can be any sale. But the sales professional of any company is the one of the most highest revered profession. It is a highly demanding job, but it is a highly rewarding job as well. So that's what I would say about sales. I would like to come to marketing now, not taking much of your time. Marketing again, it's a game of brains basically. I hope all of you know the concept of virality. In today's world, all companies design marketing campaigns in order to become viral. Everybody wants to go viral, starting from the dancing uncle to anybody who these trends on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram. Brands are clamoring to become viral because that is how they make themselves known to the world. And that is, I think, marketing. It's a game of brains. It is something that ensures that your product makes a kind of space in the consumer's mind. When we talk about marketing, we talk about brands as well. For example, when people go to a grocery shop and they say, "Bhaiya, Amul butter dena," they don't say butter dena, they say Amul butter dena. Or when they go to a grocery shop and say Colgate dena, they don't say toothpaste dena, they say Colgate dena. So Amul and Colgate are brands, they are not products. But due credit to them, the marketing and branding of these brands is so strong that people talk about the name of the brand rather than the name of the generic product. Most classic example I can give you is Fevicol. Nobody will go to a grocery shop and say glue dena, ya gond dena. They will say Fevicol dena. So that's the kind of marketing we are talking about. I think that's the kind of marketing professional you should aspire to be. I will not get into the technicalities of how marketing is done, how branding collaterals are made, how you liaise with the advertising agency to make a marketing campaign. That is a little technical. Maybe we can have a session sometime later to talk about that. But let me tell you, marketing is very important for any brand because everybody wants to be known, right? Everybody is a brand. You and I are brands. Some are very good brands, some are lousy brands, but they are a brand nonetheless. And the function of marketing is to make that brand known to the world for good or for bad. And so, in the world of media, we say any publicity is good publicity because at least you get known to people. Don't take it the other way. But yes, every brand tries to have a marketing campaign which will, ensure that it is known to the world. I will say a little bit of your time in IMDR now. I will not take much, the technicals of sales and marketing. We will come to that later sometime on a different session because this is an introductory session. We are meeting for the first time. Your life in IMDR would have just started, or you would be a year into the session. So I want you to take it easy. Just keep an open mind. And I want to say a few things about your career after IMDR. One of them is learning. So what happens is people have closed minds. People have ideas about how how things should be once they pass out of IMDR. I request you to keep all these ideas aside and keep a completely open mind when you come out of college, when you pass out of college. So let me ask you a very basic question. What kind of office do you expect once you pass out of IMDR? I mean, do you expect a corporate setup? What's the picture in your mind which comes when the moment I say the word office? Can anybody answer? Hello, am I
Yes.
audible?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes, you're audible. Okay, so I'll try. So
yeah, sure.
the thing I learned after my internship is that because I'm a student of IMDR, so I hardly expect anything. I'm ready to work in any kind of condition. So we
Right.
had to bother about that. But before taking admission in IMDR, we had a set in mind. Like we want a nice cabin, getting placed as a market and having that nice AC cabin with a table chair
Yeah,
and a
yeah,
coffee at proper time. So that was even our dream.
yeah. Right. So this is what I'm talking about. So a nice AC cabin, coffee, somebody giving you water, food, coffee, stuff to eat and drink on the table. Please get these thoughts out of your mind because if you restrict yourself to a certain thought process, it will cause a little bit of distress to you. You will feel, this is, the office will not be as per your expectation, and the work culture might not be as per your expectation. So, bottom line is, once you start out of IMDR, don't have any expectation. Take life as it comes. Don't have any preconceived notions about how an office should be or how an office should not be, and that is I think will play a very vital part in your in enhancing the richness of your experience post you pass out of the college. People have this notion कि मेरे पास cabin होगा, there'll be an AC, there'll be a housekeeping boy who I can give order to, भाई ये लेके आ, वो लेके आ. Please give these, keep these thoughts out of your mind because this is not what happens, when you go out of college. And people who go with this thought process कि ये तो ऐसा ही होना चाहिए, they get a lot of distress in life. And if you take it easy, if you just let things come the way they are coming, your journey will be much more richer and you will learn a lot. So don't say no to anything, keep an open mind and allow the learning process to happen. Another thing I would like to say is about negotiation. So since the topic is sales and marketing, negotiation is a very vital skill that you will have to learn. Some of the people are inherently good negotiators, especially in business communities, because this is what this is something which will help you scale up the ladder quickly, and this is something also which will help you bring value to your company. If you negotiate a good rate for your company, your revenues will go up. If you negotiate a lesser cost for your company, your costs will go down, and that is how you will be recognized, that is how your work will be recognized. And that is something very vital. That is something I want to say, that negotiation is one skill that you need to learn. And if you are an inherently good negotiator, then you need to sharpen your skill. One last thing, Something about work-life balance. Many of you think that you know corporate world is like 10 to 5 job, very monotonous. It's nothing like that. Life does change. Definitely life changes after college, but it will not change to the degree you are thinking it will change. You will be definitely working, and apart from working, you will be having a lot of fun also. IMDR may also, if you are, these 2 years or 1 year that you are going to be in this institute, I think apart from the learning, learn to have fun, learn to not take yourself so seriously. Believe me, nobody else also takes you seriously. So stop you taking yourself very seriously, and allow the learning process to happen, and have fun also. Because if you keep it very serious and monotonous, then the perception of management education and career after a management education will also get molded in that way. So don't let any preconceived notions guide you. Keep an open mind, and have fun. That's how learning actually takes place. I remember discussing most sales strategies, how to tackle a client, how to crack a client, how to bring additional revenue for my company. And believe me, rather than discussing all this in boardrooms and meeting rooms and AC conference rooms, the majority of the big learnings that I have got from my seniors, my bosses in my previous companies, are in were in tea breaks or lunch breaks, because that's when the actual interaction happens. So keep that in mind, and I think that will help you in uh, going forward in the learning process in the future years as your career progresses. So that is one thing I would also like to say. Ankita, I would like the students to ask me some questions, because this is getting a little monotonous.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah.
Students, your request is to please raise your hands and ask your questions if you have.
Yes, please. I would actually look forward to answer some questions, that some doubts some students might have.
So before my juniors they raise their hands, if I
Yeah.
have a question.
Yeah.
So my question is like there were some ups and downs during my internship I was going through, which was totally unexpected. And
Mhm.
luckily, I had Shruti ma'am and other teachers as well to support me very well. So
Mhm.
that shocking the language the corporates use, that was totally unexpected. As I told you that we were expecting a nice given and then someone coming and asking for coffees and everything. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
because I was there for marketing and finance with Aditya Birla Group. So
Okay. Which location? Mumbai.
so Pune.
Pune. Okay.
But unfortunately, we were online, so the training was all online thing, and we were supposed to make sales, and that was quite tough because
Mhm.
it after all insurance and pandemic made everyone to purchase one policy at least. So that was quite difficult, and people and our trainer, especially, getting very rude towards us. So could you please throw some light on that, how actually it works and everything?
See, sales is tough. Nobody said sales is easy. But the higher the risk in sales, the higher the reward. Risk is not the right word actually. The tougher the job, the higher the reward. Everybody can't become sales professional. Let me tell you at the outset. I am sure all the students who are joined in this session, if you ask them, everybody will say, no, I want to do marketing. I want to do an AC cabin ka job, and I don't want to go out on the field. I don't want to travel because of sales. But let me tell you, you are restricting yourself if you are thinking that it will be an AC cabin job and something on a laptop or a slideshow or a projector. It does not work like that. Sales is demanding and rewarding. So if you are willing to give it the profession what it demands, it will reward you, and it will reward you more than what you expect it to reward you. So trainer being rude, see, you can't control other people's behavior, but you can certainly control your reaction to their behavior, and that much I would like to say. And rudeness is not uncommon. So it depends on person to person, and like I said again, you can't control the other person's behavior, but you can certainly control the way you choose to react to that behavior. So don't give it so much of thought. I think as your journey progresses in your career, you will keep meeting different kinds of people. Some will be very good people, some will be wonderful people, some will be very bad people, and that's how it's supposed to be. Isn't that how life is? So I think that is a part of the journey, and you will have to face all this, to reach the ladder, to scale up the ladder.
Yes, sir. Sir. Thank you, sir. Wonderfully answered that. Thank you.
Yeah.
So we have Rakesh. Rakesh, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
So my question is, if I'm opting for the marketing management in my second year as a major, okay.
Yes.
So what
Yes.
technical tools I need to have, like if I'm going for it?
Sorry, I didn't get your question. What technical skills?
Yeah, skills I need to have.
Skill
Like
set.
if I'm opting for the marketing.
Required skill set.
Yes.
No, see, Excel skills, PowerPoint presentation skills are one of the given skills that you would definitely need to have, and I think all of you would be very good in that, I believe, because by the time this session ends, I mean the 2 years in IMDR end, this will be one of the things you will be very good at. You will become very good at. But if you are asking me about particularly about marketing management, I think the most important skill that you need to have is that you need to learn to apply your mind. You will be faced with a very. So I was saying that answering his question, I think the most important skill that you need to have for marketing management is that you need to learn to apply your mind. Because what happens in marketing is that you are faced with a certain marketing challenge, and you need to overcome that challenge in minimal cost. So for example, if I am in Idea Cellular and I don't have a very good uptake of my SIM cards in, let's say, Pimpri, Chinchwad area or in Pune, Deccan area, and my boss tells me, ki, boss, I need to increase the sales of my SIM cards. What will you do? And your budget is only 2,000 rupees. So in that case, you will have to apply your mind, ki, in what can I do in 2,000 rupees that will ensure that my sales increase in XYZ area. So application of the mind is very important. See, you will not have, as a marketing manager in any company, you will be always short on resources, always. If you have been given a task which is going to cost you 100 rupees, the company will allot a marketing budget of only 30 rupees to you. That will always be the case. So in order to make a job happen which needs 100 rupees in 30 rupees, you will need to apply your mind.
Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Got it.
Yeah. Yes, I think that's the most important thing. People are lazy. People don't use their brains. And marketing professional, most of all, is expected to use your brain, use his brain and apply his mind. And that's where the ideas come from, right? That's where you create an intelligent marketing campaign.
Sir, I have decided to take finance subject as my major, but I am confused that between sales and marketing for my minor subject. So what is, and can you please differentiate between the sales and marketing?
So let me get your question right. Differentiation between finance major and sales and marketing minor. Is that your question?
No, finance. I have decided to take finance as my major.
Okay.
My confusion is between sales and marketing. As if I want to promote a product, suppose the insurance policy or a mutual fund or any ULIP plan for any of the clients. So what should I pursue?
No,
Sales or
see,
marketing?
you want to take finance major, right?
Yeah.
My suggestion to you, my sincere advice to you will be, don't take sales and marketing then, because finance is a completely different field and marketing and sales is a completely different field. If you are under the impression कि मैं ये भी करूँगा, मैं वो भी करूँगा, मैं सब कुछ करूँगा, it's not going to happen. Finance is a very specific field. It's a very specific area, a department in any large or small organization, and it has got particularly nothing to do with sales and marketing except get bills and pass them. So don't jokes apart, don't include sales and marketing as a minor if you are pursuing finance major. It particularly has no connection. You want to learn it out of interest is fine, But in corporate world, its application of both these profiles are as different as chalk and cheese. So don't mix them up is my advice to you.
Right. But sir, I have decided I don't want to take any job. I have decided to be a self-employed person.
Your voice is not at all audible.
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, what I feel he's trying to say that for BFSI sector to selling in order to sell financial products, because
Right.
we have some of the subjects in finance which are actually designed for such kind of profile wherein students are required to sell mutual funds or any other kind of financial products. So there
Right.
are some sort of marketing skills plus basic knowledge about financial products matters.
Right.
So
Right.
in that combination only.
So that then see, if he is going to sell financial products in BFSI, he can always take marketing and sales and learn that small financial product part as a separate subject. That then he can take marketing and finance major and learn financial management as one single subject in any trimester or semester, in trimester rather.
Yes.
That is sufficient, I think. Product knowledge is just one part of the sales process or the marketing process. You don't need to take a separate specialization for that. Yes, it will definitely help. Definitely, it will help. But I think if he is going to be doing a sales and marketing profession, then he should take sales and marketing as a major and not minor.
Thank you, sir.
Was I able to answer the question? Let me know.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, sir. Sir, I just want to intervene here. Like we are offering dual specialization. So like he can opt for marketing as a major, and in finance also we are offering 10 subjects. So out of 10 he can choose finance as a minor, and out of 10 he can pick only those subjects which are suitable for BFSI sector only.
Yes,
So
this sounds perfect.
Other like corporate finance, taxation, and other there are other some merger and acquisition. He can leave that. He can just pick which is actually gelling up with the marketing.
Absolutely, absolutely. Corporate finance, mergers and acquisitions, taxation, law, not
that is completely different. Yeah, right.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. That's what I want to say.
Finance people, yeah, that is like
yes, that is only for core finance people. That is for people who want to go to the finance, who want to go to work in a finance background and not sell or market anything. Then corporate finance, mergers and acquisitions, law, taxation, all these come into the picture.
Right. So, sir, we are offering dual specialization right now. So, as the students like focus that he wants to join BFSI sector or say risk management, so accordingly they are allowed to pick subjects.
Yes. See, BFSI is a huge umbrella. There are many profiles in BFSI. He can go into marketing of BFSI products. He can go into treasury management. He can go into credit and risk management. He can go into financial operations. There are many products in that. But if he wants a customer-facing role, then obviously marketing of BFSI products is the role. Other than this, all roles are back-end roles.
Correct, sir. Thank you, sir. We have question from Rohit. Yes, Rohit.
Yes, Rohit, please ask your question.
So how would you try to define the skill set that is required in marketing and finance? What is the difference that we need, the skills that we need in marketing and the skills that we need in finance? So the personality traits that we need in marketing and in finance.
Rohit, may I intervene, please? It would be great if we full focus on marketing first. Okay.
So, yes, Rohit, please ask your question. So I will answer this very briefly, Ankita. In marketing, obviously, as I said, marketing and sales are two completely different work areas. Marketing is a completely different profile which demands a completely different skill set. Sales is something else. Sales we will come to later at a later session maybe. You need to be a people's person. You need to think on your feet. You need to be practical. You need to be, jisko what we call as street smart. You need to be really street smart for somebody who wants to go to marketing and sales. Finance is more of analytical skills, good at mathematics, understanding ratios, understanding percentages, understanding the meaning of numbers. This is something which is very important for a finance background, for a finance role. I hope I was able to answer your question.
Yes.
Darshan, I request you to unmute yourself and ask your question.
So good morning everyone. Good morning, sir.
Morning, morning. Good morning.
Basically, I'm from a technical background. Like I have done my engineering.
Right.
My first, like in second year, I think like major for me will be operation. In minor, I have a confusion like whether to opt for the marketing or should I go for the finance. So I'm in that confused mind.
If you are you looking at doing an operations role later after IMDR in any company?
I am basically focusing on the manufacturing units or in the FMCG.
Yes, then go for finance. Definitely go for finance. Don't go for marketing because see the kind of roles that you are talking about, Darshan. It will not be a customer-facing role. You will not be selling things. You will not be marketing things. So not taking sales and marketing makes sense. Instead, if you have knowledge of finance, then you can work in the areas of cost optimization, resource optimization, and all these things where financial skills will come in handy. So operations and finance is a much better combination than operations and marketing.
Thank you so much, sir.
Sure.
Rahul, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah, sure. Very good morning, sir.
Good morning, Rahul.
Sir, I have a question like how to build trust online, as when we receive a call from any broker or an agent of an insurance company, means basically a service provider company, we feel like it can be a fraud call, though the call is genuine.
Yes. See, Rahul, building trust takes time. It's not about online or offline. It is how how much time you invest in that relationship. So if you
Sir,
want,
but the boss won't give us the time. Like they will just ask us to convert that into a sales. They won't give us
yeah,
time.
if I agree, I will not deny that. See, if time is a constraint and you need to build trust in a limited time, I think you need to be as sincere as possible with the customer and not, say something which will enable the sale to happen. If you want the sale to happen, the customer might get, he might agree with you once and the sale might happen. But if you go to him the second time, the repeat customer or repeat buying, which is the major part of business, that will not happen. So my suggestion to you would be to be as sincere and forthright and forthcoming as possible, straightforward as possible with the customer, and that is surely something which will enable trust.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Pratham, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Before that, can I go?
You're not audible, ma'am. Ankita, yeah, I'm able to hear now. Yes.
Apart from sales, what are the different job profiles are there in marketing sector? May I know?
See, apart from sales, typically there are two major roles. These are two major bifurcations. Now, you are asking in terms of industry or in terms of the role that you will be doing?
Sorry.
I'm saying your question about roles is it in terms of the industry? Because see, there is telecom sales, there is retail sales, there is media sales, there's advertising sales. There are different kinds of sales. So is your question about the industry or about the role that you will be doing?
No, about the role, sir. Like I have heard about digital marketing.
Yes. So in marketing, you will have digital marketing, you will have on-ground marketing, you will have outdoor marketing, you will have media marketing, you will have direct marketing. In sales, it will be direct sales, it will be B2B sales, it will be retail sales, it will be business to customer sales and customer to customer sales. So these are some of the roles that are in these professions.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Tina, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah, thank you, Ankita. So good morning, sir. My question to you is that in my experience, whenever there has been a product that I don't completely believe in or I haven't had a good experience with, I am not able to sell it further. So how,
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
it's very important for a salesperson to keep their feelings out of the sales pitch. So
Absolutely.
how do you suggest that we do that? How do we keep our feelings separate from the marketing pitch or the sales pitch that there's going to be?
Excellent question. See, you are absolutely right when you say that you want to believe in the product. You should believe in the product that you sell, because if you don't believe in the product that you sell, you will not be able to sell it. Let's be honest here. I mean, there is nothing to hide here. Most sales professionals languish in their careers exactly because of this reason, because they don't believe in the product that they sell. How to keep your feelings separate, how to keep your emotions separate from the job that you do? See, I would like to say that treat it as a job, don't take it personally. See, if I'm selling an iPhone to an Android user, and an Android user has problems with an Apple user, and an Apple user has problems with Android user, does not mean both those products are not good or not bad either. It is bit of both, right? So if you keep your emotions separate while you are selling it, the way you can keep your emotions separate while you are selling it is being absolutely dispassionate. If you are doing the sale, if you are trying to convince a customer about a product and he doesn't agree, he denies your request, my suggestion to you is to not take it personally. And it's a job. It's just I will not go to the extent of saying it's an algorithm, but it is a process. Sales is definitely a process, and nowhere in the process do I need to get involved personally with the product. So let's say I'll give you a very classic example. It's a bit of it's not the perfect example, but I will still give it. Soft drink sales. All of you have Thumbs Up and Coca-Cola, right? And some point of time you would have consumed carbonated beverages. Let me tell you, soft drinks are very bad for your health. But does that do marketing professionals endorse soft drinks personally, or do they make campaigns to convince millions of people to drink Thumbs Up and Coca-Cola? I think this is a question you need to ask each and every sales professional. If you ask the marketing head of Coca-Cola today that does he drink Coca-Cola himself, I am sure you will be surprised with the answer. And I'm decently sure he will say, I don't drink it personally, but I want to convince the people who are wanting to drink it. I want to convince them to drink Coca-Cola instead of Thumbs Up. So it's a job for him. It is not personal. If 50% of market share of Coca-Cola is taken away by Thumbs Up, that does not mean that the marketing person of Coca-Cola is bad. But it's a personal, he needs to keep his feelings, separate from his job. I think that's the way you can proceed here.
Sir, I have a question on behalf of the students. Like,
yes.
Senior batch, they have completed the internship, and many of them had to do cold calling. Okay, though they were doing some other jobs, they were handling some other projects, but along with that, they had to do cold calling.
Yes.
So I just want you to just clarify the doubt why cold calling is also a learning experience. Right, because it's again a learning experience for this batch, means though they are very young. So they
Let
were.
me tell you, see, cold calling is an inherent part of sales and marketing. Yes. What happens is, for example, if I'm making toothpaste, if I'm Colgate Palmolive and I'm making toothpaste, the marketing head of Colgate Palmolive will, or the sales head of Colgate will want each and every person in the world to use only Colgate. So technically, everybody who brushes teeth is his consumer. Am I right? So this happens in case of B2B also. Every organization will want to reach as many prospects, as many prospective customers as possible. And that is how cold calling, that is why cold calling is done. There's no other reason. Cold calling is a test of metal, let me tell you. It is not everybody's cup of tea. And people who are awkward or uncomfortable in talking to strangers are typically bad at cold calling. If you are not good at cold calling, if you get cold feet when you talk to strangers, let me tell you, sales and marketing is not the profession for you. So as far as sales and marketing professionals are concerned, as far as the students here who are going to take sales and marketing, let me tell you, a large part of your initial career, you will have to do a lot of cold calling. And that is perfectly fine. That is a part of the process. That's how you go up. There is no other way. There is no silver plate that you are going to be served food on and, you know, on which you will get a steady career growth. Was I able to answer the question, or something, some other clarification is needed?
No, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Rakesh, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
So my question is that are there any other courses like in marketing, so we can brush it up a little bit to enhance, like in marketing, if we are opting for marketing, so there any courses like class we can skill up to brush it up our skills. Like in ITBC, there are some Python and these things. So
you are talking about courses apart from IMDR, which you want to do online?
No, not yeah, but in marketing.
Not really. I think education in IMDR is fulsome, and the course curriculum that IMDR carries will cover broad subjects, and it will cover the entire spectrum of sales and marketing. And I don't think that anything in the online world is going to teach you anything very unique, which is not being offered in IMDR. I am pretty sure, and I trust IMDR's curriculum totally. So I don't think that you would need something very technical to learn from outside.
Okay.
Sir, just to add one thing, like here at IMDR, we are encouraging students to do some of the certifications which are available free of cost. We have tie-up with the Coursera, we have tie-up with the edX. So such kind of, because whenever we teach specialization, so we recommend some of the courses which are beneficial, like digital marketing. Most of our students are doing that certification.
But digital marketing will be a part of the study curriculum, right?
Yeah. It is a subject, as well as you will be guided to do the right certification also, if you are willing. But otherwise, yes, it is a subject which is being offered. Similarly,
certification definitely makes sense for people doing something very specific, but it looks good on your resume. Yes, definitely, I can say that much. If the objective is showing a decent and nice resume and showing a bit of extra courses apart from the regular curriculum, yes, they can be pursued. Definitely.
Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Actually, sir, they are new students, so they don't have much idea about the different kind of facilities which are available.
Yes,
and they didn't get opportunity to visit campus. That is another thing.
I know. I can completely understand. I can completely understand the condition that is prevailing right now. But yes, things will get only better from here. That much I can say. And once they visit the campus physically, things will surely take a turn for the better.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir. Another question is from Gautami. Yes, Gautami, please go ahead.
Good morning, sir. So my question is like ma'am said, during cold calling, people are very rude to us. So how do we control ourselves?
How do you? Sorry, I didn't get the last word.
How do we control ourselves? Like we have to be very polite to them, even if they are rude to us. So how do we control ourselves?
Don't let your emotions get the better of you. Don't take it personally. See, do you know who you are calling on the other end? It's a random number, and since the number is random, the response that you will receive from the other end will be random. And please understand something. He is not saying something to you personally. He is talking about, or he is denying, or he is rejecting, or he is being rude to the product that you are pitching to him. He is not being rude to you personally. So don't let your emotions get the better of you. And I mean that's one way of handling. So when you are calling an unknown number and you are doing cold calling, expect anything and everything. Let me tell you, it's not that bad as well. Huh? I mean, there is some hesitancy and resistance that I feel is here about cold calling. Let me tell you, it's not like that. I have done, I think, lakhs of cold calls. And yes, you get bad people, you get rude people, but you get good people as well. So it's a mix of both.
So, Ankita this side. So, would you mind me adding something to what she asked?
Yes.
It is as a recent experience which we had in our internship.
Please.
So, like even we were supposed to, at some point of time, even we were supposed to do cold calling with random numbers,
Right.
and so it is like what I would suggest, Gautam. It's not always that you have to be quiet or people are rude, so you can't say anything. Sometimes it is important for you also to react or respond. So it's better
Yes.
don't react, respond to people, and just make sure that you're not spoiling the name of the company or the people you're working for, and you can respond. It's absolutely free to respond.
Very true. I think you said it very rightly. You need to respond and not react. I think I can't find a better way of putting this actually. It's not personal. And see, if you are, let's say you are cold calling from ICICI Bank and you call up this person and say, sir, aapko credit card chahiye kya, or personal loan or insurance or whatever. And he says something rude to you and you reply back to him, if you retort back to him, if you react to him, you know what that person will do? He will tell 10 other people, मुझे ICICI बैंक से फोन आया था और मेरे साथ किसी ने रूडली बात की. He will not say anything about himself कि I also was rude to that person, but he will say the ICICI bank sales people are so rude. So very rightly said, you need to respond and not react, and you need to keep this in mind at all times that it's not you who is calling that person personally. It is when you are calling from, let's say you are working in ICICI bank and you are calling somebody for selling some financial product. It is not you who is calling him personally. It is the bank calling him. So you are the face of the bank actually.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, do we have any more questions?
Okay, so Ankita?
Yes, ma'am.
So I think now we need to conclude the session if there are no more questions.
Okay, ma'am. So,
thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. It's my immense pleasure to present vote of thanks. I, Ankita Yadav, on behalf of Tech and Education Societies, IMDR, would like to thank you, sir, for giving us time and inspiring us on such a wonderful topic. So, your thoughts and experience and stories have really inspired us. As you mentioned in your talk about the tools and techniques required for marketing, difference of marketing and sales, importance of sales in every sector, myths and facts about corporate life, facts about preconceived notions, and most importantly, showing the real pictures of corporate. This piece of information has really helped us and inspired us. Thank you so much, sir. I would also like to thank our director, faculty, non-teaching staff, and supporting us for such corporate connect. I thank the entire student organizing team, technical support, and last but not the least, I thank all the student colleagues without whom the session would have been successful. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure.